then I would love to introduce our first guest today, who is Nathan, known back home to his Australian buddies as Nath, but please don't call him Nate because that's too American,
Okay.
apparently. So, just make a note of that. And he is, I think everyone probably knows you, Nathan, that you're a luxury destination wedding photographer, and officially since 2014, full time. I think that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, yeah. Although you said you've had a camera in your hand for over 20 years, which
True.
is which is literally half my life. You all know that now from because of Ajna. Yeah. Yeah. So that's crazy. And what I loved, so a bit of an intro to Nathan first. That I stalked you a little bit online. Like I don't really know you, I'll be honest. Like, but I did stalk you a little bit. And from
That's cool.
what I could see, I really loved this statement you've got on your website. I think it's from one of your testimonials. There is truly no one else like him in this business. Right. I think that is like an incredible statement that I think anyone would feel chuffed to get. And of course, that must speak to who you are as a person, who you are as a photographer, just your approach and everything about who you are. Um, and I thought it was a beautiful statement that spoke to these Connect Word Meets sessions that we're doing. There is truly no one else like each of us in this business. And that's
Mhm.
why we're doing this. We're digging deeper to find out what is it that's special, what is it unique that makes us like no one else in this entire business. That really excited me on a broader in a broader way for what we're doing here with ConnectWed. So yeah, we're learning about the people behind the profession, in your case, behind the camera, Nathan. And I wanted to start with actually some really random little known fact about Nathan. And that is, I'm just going to drop it in there and then let you explain. He is fluent in Arabic. So like, I was amazed by that. We talked about like German today, but I very rarely hear about people, especially from the Western part of the world, who are fluent in Arabic. So maybe we'll start there. I'll let you explain like where, why, where does that come from?
Where and how? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much. I mean, being the first person in this first series, like, wow, thank you very much. The pressure's kind of on a little bit. It's like this will be the, like what did they do in the first one? We'll look back, right? And it's like the first one. Yeah. But thank you for that. So, yeah, how did that come about? So my father's Lebanese, my mother's Australian, and I was born in Australia, so I'm Australian. But I actually lived in the Middle East for about 6 or 7 years when I was a teenager. So they were pretty formative years. And during that time, I was immersed in the culture. I actually lived in Lebanon. I was immersed in the culture and immersed in the experience. And having done that, you guys being in Europe, if you live in a foreign country, you're going to immerse yourself, and then you will learn the language that way. It's the best way to kind of, learn how to speak, read, and write. So I did that. But the funny thing is, like being there when I was like, 12 and 13 and attending, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, during the normal class hours, I'd then go to like literally the kindergarten section and sit like in a special room, like with teachers who were trying to bring, foreign students like me up to speed on the language. But I was in like the kindergarten building. So I'm surrounded by the ABCs and whatnot. So it was pretty funny in that regard, being, brought up to speed with the language. But, after a couple of years, just that's the best way. And it's the best age to kind of, I think, be receptive and able to, learn a new language. So that's how that came about. Then when I was like 18, moved back to Australia, and I had that, experience in my back pocket and the language to come along with it. And in subsequent years, it's been fantastic to spy on people because they didn't suspect it. So it's been amazing. Um, there was an instance where my wife and I traveled to Jordan, and they again not any appearance of Middle Eastern or Arab, and it's great to hear people talking about us, and I'm able to like chime in. I say that's very nice, like so just surprise them with that. So it actually comes in pretty handy. Yeah, yeah,
I love that. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, my wife and I, we do that with German sometimes. We have our own sort of secret language or yeah. So I can kind of relate. But yeah, that's incredible. I'm always super impressed by people who can speak another language fluently. Um, so yeah. Yeah, amazing. See, we've
My
not
wife
even, yeah, sorry.
for my wife for the longest time thought I was like working for the government. Like she just thought I'm like, I don't have time to work for the government. I really don't. Like she's like, I have this secret double agent life. I'm like, I don't. Trust me, I don't have the time for that. Yeah. I
I
think
love
she
that.
finally believes me now, so that's all good.
So how would you say, my name is Nathan and I'm a photographer?
أنا اسمي نيثان وأنا فوتوغرافية.
Wow. Like you could have said anything there and I would have
Yeah,
believed you.
pretty much. Pretty, that's the beauty of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, he's not lying, guys. That was a test. Okay.
That was it.
Uh, so we've not even talked about photography yet. That was intentional. This is about learning about the person as much as what you do. However, I do want to go quickly to you as a wedding photographer. And I want to know like why that path. I know you said you had a camera in your hand for over 20 years, but then like what made you transition then into weddings, into then becoming a wedding photographer?
Well, I think for a lot of people, it starts, photographing, a few weddings for friends and realizing that you enjoy it so much. But then, you know, I quickly realized it just wasn't about like, the pretty images. It's actually about you creating a legacy and preserving their truth, that moment for that couple. So there's a great sense of responsibility that really comes with that. And once I saw how powerful preserving someone's story legacy can be, I just went with it. It was just like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is like, it's high stress, high stakes, but so rewarding at the same time. So yeah,
Mm, I love that. Preserving stories, preserving legacies. That's really
right,
powerful. And
right,
yeah, yeah, I can imagine the high stakes. It's literally something that people keep close to them for their entire lives, right, to look
right.
back on.
So yeah,
So
once you realize how powerful that is, and you're like, okay, there's a lot that comes with that, but
yeah,
it's very rewarding. Yeah.
brilliant. And what were you doing like work-wise before you made the
Um,
switch?
I actually worked for Qantas, the Australian airline. I was in
Okay.
the aviation industry. So yeah, very, 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 very different. Yeah.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I actually came from being an aerospace engineer. So
Oh, there you
like
go.
aviation, aerospace is, yeah, it's amazing what you find out about people
Yeah.
when you just go back a little bit. Yeah, cool, thanks. And
Yeah.
like coming to your, obviously you got this incredible testimonial. There's no one like you in the industry. So I want to start digging a little bit into that. Like, how would you describe your vibe, your style? What is it that makes your work, Nathan Jaffan's work and no one else's? What would, I want you to big yourself up now. Like, what sets you up? Yeah, I'm giving you permission. What is it that sets you apart from the crowd?
Well, I appreciate that statement and that testimonial, but I really think it's like what you said. It speaks to everyone being their own person. Like everyone is individually themselves, and it's about finding what makes that person them, and then you're attracted to that, and that makes you unique, right? So couples and vendors and are attracted to that one thing. There's no one else like anyone else, which is so important, right? But I think for me personally, if I'm describing like what makes what's my vibe or my style or what makes my work, I think I would say that it's just a really deep focus on genuine connection, right?
Mm,
So specifically on happiness, right? So with my clients in particular, I always feel like I have to have a laugh with them. I need to get to know them to allow, really authentic moments to shine through, right? And really it's those, photographers will attest to this. It's those in between moments that happen when couples are fully present that I just find so enjoyable. And then I also take that and want to blend the beauty of the environment that they're in with the authenticity of the couple's connection to tell their story. So to me,
mm,
that's really, I think what I offer and what my vibe is just really that deep connection, and particularly focusing on happiness for sure.
mm. I love that. I love that a lot. Like you didn't go to your filters and the aesthetics, but you went to the human sort of connection part. And
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess probably that touches all of us all, as wedding suppliers in terms of building connections with our couples, with our clients.
Mm.
And what's your What's your process like? Do you get to know them over a number of months to build that relationship, to build that connection before the big day? How does that work usually?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think that's really important. If we're unable to have meetings in person, like just to grab a coffee and like kind of, get to know each other, then at least, online meetings, Zooms. I have various touch points throughout the process where I'll connect with them before the big day. Another thing is like if they have an engagement session, that's obviously a fantastic
Mm,
opportunity for people to connect with them and break the ice, especially in front of the camera. So it's
mm,
very but yeah, just definitely multiple touch points throughout the process for sure.
mm. That's cool, do it with the engagement session because then it's literally not the first time on their big
Right.
day that they've been, with you with your camera pointed at them and yeah, brilliant.
Right. And for me, it's also after the fact. It's not like their wedding day comes and goes and that's the end of the story. Like I have a lot of clients who, I've since become friends with. I take their family photos. I see their families growing, right?
Mm,
Which is the next chapter in their story, which is great, which is I love. So it's nice
mm,
having, yeah.
brilliant. So let's talk more about your clients, your couples that you work with. Do you actually have like a main client that you tend to work with, or looking to the future, like a dream client that you would love to attract?
Dream client for sure. I'd say, any couple who values presence over perfection would kind of be my ideal client, right? The magic lives in how the day feels, and just only how it looks, right? Because when you look, for me at least, when you look at a photo, you remember how you feel in that moment more so than what you actually look like. So as long as I'm conveying that, um, and they're the client who values that and wants that, then that to me is my ideal client. Like that's a dream client who really values that aspect of photography. They're
Mm,
willing to be present and enjoy it. They're not looking for necessarily like a Pinterest board type wedding. They're just enjoying the moment for sure.
love that. And
Yeah.
do you just out of interest on that, do you tend to bring that out in your social media, in your website? Like how do you attract those types of, if there's even a method, or it just
Yeah,
happens naturally? Yeah.
I think there is. You gotta, I mean, I guess these ideal clients, they're kind of categorized as dreamers, right? In the buyer type world, because there's different, characteristics of buyer types, right? So mine are called, I guess, dreamers, and they want they're emotionally, I'd say, motivated, inspired by travel, culture, and storytelling. All right.
Mm.
They want more magic, not logistics. So I feel like those are a really good fit. And if I'm putting out images that inspire that they're motivated by, then chances are they're a good fit, right?
I love all these contrasting terms like magic over
Yeah.
logistics, like presence over perfection. I think that's really good clarifying language, isn't it? To
Right.
sort out who are your people and maybe who are not your people. So that's really
Right.
cool that you've got that clarity because we don't all have that same level of
It's
clarity.
a work in, but
Uh,
it's a work in
yeah,
progress because
yeah,
it's like it takes a lot to, and I feel like everyone goes through this, right? When you're looking for those kind of clients, like you need to kind of dive deeper below the surface and see what makes them tick, right? Like what's
yeah.
going to them to you and vice versa.
Well, which brings me beautifully onto the next question. What is it that makes you tick? Like, what do you really love most about your work? The stuff like you never get tired of.
Honestly, it's meeting new people and hearing their stories, and connecting on shared experiences. Like that we all have, like just now, like, talking to you about like you're moving to Germany and like, learning another language and I've learned another language. And a lot of us here in this group obviously value and love travel. So it's connecting on those shared experiences that I feel like are really important. That's what makes me tick. For me, I think the creative inspiration comes from new connections and new places for sure. It keeps me inspired. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, cool. So again, it's sort of feeding into that connection piece that you
Yeah,
mentioned
for sure.
earlier. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like going beyond like what you love personally, like what's the bigger dream, vision, core mission, if you even have one, or is it just I just love what I do, full stop? Is there a bigger vision?
I mean, in simple terms, yeah, it is. I love what I do. In very simplistic terms, right? That's love what I do. But I think yeah, if you're talking about like a vision or a core mission, I'd have to say it's to document connection with intention, right? And to do it very carefully and intentionally, right? Um, you know, the industry, and I guess we'll touch on this, perhaps later in the conversation if we talk about like frustrations in the industry, but there's a lot of like kind of fly-by-wire kind of like vendors who come in and pop in and out of the scene, right? And it dilutes, I think, the value that us in the industry who really do care about what we do, dilutes that. It makes it a little bit more difficult. So I think my vision or core mission is to actually really preserve what I do, is to document with intention and with care and get that message across, right? So
Mm. Yeah, I love that, and very clear. It's good, isn't it? How these frustrations they feed our mission and
True.
where we want to go. It's all connected, isn't it? And actually,
Right.
again, beautifully leads on to the next question I wanted to ask you, which was about, you know, frustrations or points towards it. But what's been your hardest part? If you're willing to share, like anything you're
Yeah.
willing to share,
Yeah,
what's been the
absolutely.
hardest part of your journey so far, and what's still challenging like today?
I think nowadays, I think in today's environment, it's just this pressure to always be on, right? Like to perform on social media, to fit into certain aesthetics, or constantly prove your worth in an industry that doesn't always, value style, over substance, right? It's balancing the art of storytelling with your business, right? With actually trying to keep up with what you're doing. I just think the social media aspect in today's age is just like really changed the dynamics of it all. And again, it comes back to kind of diluting the message that I think a lot of us are trying to get across. I think sometimes like, you know, all vendors who are, quieter or have more thoughtful work kind of get drowned out in this sea of trends. All right. And that can be very frustrating. Um, on a personal note, I think in addition to social media, like what I can find challenging is making the leap into new markets, particularly international markets, where I'm still like, the kind of the new guy and trying to build trust and community within those markets. Um, I know with keeping at it, it'll be worth it long term. But oftentimes, we're on social media, we see people like everyone's putting forward their most, highlight reel, and it's kind of like this overnight, they celebrate kind of overnight success. Doing the long, hard work can sometimes feel, frustrating. It just requires patience and a lot of faith. So I think you just got to keep that in mind.
Mm, yeah, I really like that. Yeah, Instagram's horrible, isn't it? For sort of reinforcing the wrong message, like the
Yeah, in
thumbnail.
a lot of ways it can. Yeah,
Yeah, you
absolutely.
just see that the tip of the iceberg, and that's all we're gonna show you. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's a really good one. And just speaking to that, then with you wanting to become, I think you shared that in the past as well, wanting to become more international and getting more destinations. And like, what's the best way we all as a community can support you in that, or just in something else, if it's in addition right now.
Hang on, so I mean, you could treat me like your favorite meal and tell everyone about me. I mean, no,
Yeah,
no, I
well,
think
yeah.
there's, um, no, seriously, I think, I'm personally fueled by genuine connection, right? So, the industry ironically can feel pretty isolating at times, but when we show up for one another, right, and when we share our networks and our insights, and we help each other, we're building bridges instead of walls, right? So I think that's really important to help support each other. That's what fuels me. When we're actively providing opportunities for each other to collaborate and help and assist, meet new people, I think we all rise together. And I think that would be the best thing. I mean, at least from my perspective, to support me and hopefully support others in doing the same.
Yeah, I love that. I think we could take that one as something that we could all benefit from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And now I would open up to questions. I'll try to just limit this to 5 minutes. So I would love to just talk. I could talk and talk all
Okay.
day, I think, to you. And the same with questions. I'm sure people have got interesting questions to ask. but just in the interest of trying to keep in the time, there's
Sure.
three of you to get through. So who I saw Ajna come off mute. So maybe we'll start with you, Ajna, assuming that means you've got a question.
I don't have questions per se, but one, I wanted to, well, I guess it is a question, but I wanted to ask if you knew that Emma is also Lebanese. Little
Yeah,
bond that you.
yeah. I connected. I actually, and that's one of the things, the great things I think about this community, right? Is like I looked at the photographers in the US and I know she was on a call, and after last week's call, a week before, I actually connected with her and I saw from her bio that, you know, she was Lebanese. So I messaged her and I said, hey, guess what? Like, blah, blah, blah. And then we shared that connection. So yeah, we're more active now on Instagram together as well. It's great. That's great.
Cool. Good. I was just gonna say, like, yeah, the contrasting words that Prit mentioned, um, like if they're not on your website, I feel like that would be really powerful on your website. Like,
Thank you.
you know,
Okay.
all those contrasts could really speak to your ideal clients if they're not on
Yeah.
there. And
Thank
all
you.
these, like every time we talk to anybody, I'm like, ooh, I want to introduce him to this person and I want to connect him with this person. And so we all need to do that for each other. And as I'm saying that, I'm realizing that I owe Prit a few introductions as well. But got some people I want to introduce you to, sure, Nathan.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ajna. Any other questions or comments that came up for others?
I have a question. I kind of know the answer to this, so I'm cheating, but I just want to hear you talk about it. Where are the places that you want to work, Nathan? In destination weddings, where are you drawn to?
I'm particularly drawn to Europe, specifically having recently visited Portugal and made a couple of connections there. I love, in general, I love the culture and the history of Europe. I think I've said this to a few of you in various points. I think I'm living in the wrong place. Actually, I know I'm living in the wrong place. Don't get me wrong. Southern California is beautiful. It sounds so snobby saying this. It's kind of like, oh, everyone wants to come. I love it, okay? But it's ironic because I'm not necessarily that kind of like, you know, beach kind of Southern California, yo dude person. I'm really inspired by culture and history, and Europe just has it all. So I love that. But to answer your question, Kristen, like, yeah, definitely I think Portugal, France, England, Italy, those places really top the list for me.
Amazing. And I've been loving to seeing all the content that you've been sharing since your most recent trip.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. Appreciate that. And for those of you who don't know, I'll share it on this call. I discovered Kristen last year. I think your destination marketing hashtags or posts succeeded.
Mhm.
That's how I found you. And I've been inspired by your work since. I'm a big fan of your work, Kristen. So I love seeing your posts. It's just so refined and authentic. And I love seeing that. And then through that, I know you recommended Join Connect Wed. So I'm here because of you. So thank you for that.
Of course. Thank you for saying that.
Of course.
The inspiration is mutual.
Oh, I appreciate that so much.
Mhm.
The system's working. Sorry, Ajna, yes.
Unless, no, just unless Sharon or Danielle has questions, because you haven't had a chance to go yet. No. Okay. I just wanted to say, one, I wish I'd known you were in France. We could have met up. B, A2 and D. How did you end up in California then? If you're more of a Europe, because I was born in California, but I'm not like
Where in California were you from?
um in the valley,
Oh, the
Topanga.
Valley. Okay. Okay. My wife is from California. She's American.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we met in Sydney actually. We met in Sydney way back when. And then we did long distance for a long time, and that's when everyone says, "Hey, that's never going to work out. 'Cause it's long distance." I'm like, "Haha, look what happened, right?" So and then I ended up moving. It was that thing like, where are we going to move? And then I ended up moving over here in like 2010 and 2011, and I've been here since. So that's how that came about. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I was in Paris for like literally 24 hours. By the way, yeah. But next time we're going to plan a longer trip and do other parts of France. So I'd love to meet up.
Yeah, let me know. I mean,
Okay.
Provence is pretty nice. I don't know if
It
you've
sounds
heard.
nice.
Provence is pretty nice, but Paris
It
is
sounds
like a cool train ride for me. So I'd love to meet you in person.
awesome.
It's a tough life, isn't it? Southern California, Provence.
It really is.
Yes, yeah. Okay, thanks so much, Nathan. I love chatting to you. As I said, I could chat more to you, I'm sure. I'll repeat this at the end, but something I would love to come out of these sessions is that naturally afterwards we're just reaching out to each other and DMing each other and setting up one-on-one coffees and chats and stuff. So I will definitely do that with you after this call at some point.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Look forward to it. Thank you. Thanks so much.
my pleasure.